I'm standing here with William Kostrick, who made headlines all over New Hampshire and all over America today by going to the Obama town hall meeting, open carrying a firearm. And William, you just got off of NBC, MSNBC recently. You've been interviewed by the Boston Globe, a lot of other places. But that hardball appearance is the one that everybody is talking about, how where Chris Matthews really came at you hard. How do you feel that you handled yourself on that?
Actually, when I got out, I was feeling pretty bad about it. But after I got home and watched it, I thought it went as well as can be expected. The truth is that he does it every day. He's really good at what he does. It's called hardball for a reason. And under the circumstances, it was not only physically hot in the room, but I was on the verge of a heat stroke after having stood out in the sun and sweated all day. I was dehydrated. I had a headache, and I think overall I pulled it all together and did a pretty good interview, at least from what other people are telling me. So.
Now, why did you pick that particular sign, the one that said the Tree of Liberty needs to be watered?
Actually, that was a sign that we had from the HR 6 rally. And
it was a sovereignty rally.
Yes.
State sovereignty.
It was a state sovereignty rally. And I just didn't have very many signs, didn't have time to make a sign, and it seemed at least semi-appropriate, so I took what I had on hand.
What would you say to folks who say that that sign gives the impression of being a little bit threatening? Matched up with the gun also.
The truth of the matter is several of the folks that interviewed me asked that question, and my response was that you need to sometimes present a more extreme viewpoint in order to pull people halfway between where they are and where you'd like them to move. And hopefully that actually works out that way, that it kind of shocks some people into opening their eyes, whether you really want to go that far or not. The truth is obviously no one wants violence, but everyone knows the quote, those who make peaceful revolution impossible make violent revolution inevitable. That's what we're hoping doesn't happen.
What do you expect to happen next? Do you think that you're going to get a visit from the Secret Service or other types of federal agencies?
I doubt it.
Did any of them approach you at the scene?
I'm not aware of having spoke to anyone who was with the Secret Service.
So it was all local police checking you out?
That's my impression.
How would you say they handled themselves? Were they professional in handling you?
The Portsmouth detective lieutenant who approached me was very cordial. He asked me to step to the side and speak with him, which I did. He asked me if I was aware of the federal law barring firearms within 1,000 feet of school. I said that I was. I said I was also aware of the exception to that law if one had authorization, which I do have in the form of a concealed carry permit. He then replied that he was not, he didn't really know the law. He was just, quote, doing what he was told, and that they were going to, that if I refused to leave, I would be arrested for criminal trespass, not anything having to do with the firearm, but that they were asking me to leave school property and I would be trespassing if I stayed, was the final answer on that. I asked him where the 1,000-foot line was, and he couldn't tell me. He got on the phone, though. He did a try to find out. He was gone for about 10 minutes, and when he came back, he pointed to the barricade at the end of the street and said, we're going to ask you to go to the other side of the barricade. And I said, but that's more than 1,000 feet. And he said, I don't really know where 1,000 feet is, but that's where we're going to ask you to stand. And I said, so where are we at? And of course, this exchange is all on video. And it turns out that while I was standing there, I had the opportunity to interview with several news groups. And so I was weighing the benefits of staying and getting arrested, or going ahead and removing myself to the end, or returning my firearm to the vehicle and coming back to the main protest area. And I hadn't really decided what I was going to do when he received a call from the police chief, and he informed me that the police chief had contacted the priest of the church, which was right there, and that the priest had granted me sanctuary. That is, he said, you can stand in the front of our church and you'll be on private property. So that's where I stood the rest of the time, and that's where most of those interviews and the footage that you saw on TV took place, was me standing in front of a Greek Orthodox church, and the priest was right there on scene. I didn't have a lot of time to talk to him, but I believe his name was Pappas, and seemed like a very, very good guy.
Now, what happens next? Do you have a bunch of requests for interviews tomorrow or tonight or anything like that?
Actually, I didn't want to distribute my phone number to the media, many of whom requested it. The lady from MSNBC said specifically, we might want to interview you on the Tonight Show or the Today Show or whatever. We'll need a phone number to get in touch with you. And I said, well, I just don't want really you to have my phone number. Bill Domenico was close by, and he offered his number, which he gave, and we did, in fact, within a few hours get a call back, and that's when they asked me to be interviewed on Chris Matthews. So everyone else I gave my email address to, and for all I know, I have an inbox full of requests. I don't know. I haven't checked yet.
What do you hope happens next in terms of the status of this sort of peaceful rebellion that we've got going on in the U.S. right now?
Well, what I really wish is that instead of one, there has been about 50. I mean, if 2,000 people showed up, I would like to have seen 30, 40, 50, 100 open carriers standing on that front lawn of that church. I think that would have given the media something to really take pause and notice. Apparently one person did. I can't imagine what the effect would have been more, but I think it's a great example of why open carry is important.
All right. William, thanks for your time.
Absolutely.